Need to cover some of that black back up when we get some needles into our trees that are further back. All right. Well, I don't know how well it's showing up on the camera. I got a few little spots here, but I just want to flatten out. So the flatter you get that paint, the quicker it's going to dry for you, and the quicker you can put in the next layer. Okay, now though, I'll clean this brush. I'm going to get some orange. A lot of orange, just a touch, just a little touch of that phthalo, remembering how strong it is. In fact, we can even take a big gloppy yellow in there. Let's get a little more orange. I want this to look bright, almost like that sun is burning right through the tree and putting it on fire. Okay. Now, get the top of that tree. Take a little bit of that darker color. Pull up the stem. Put a little shadow under some of those orange. And up the top here, we got some more. We get a little bit of that, no, deep yellow. I'm gonna mix it with a little lemon yellow, a slightly lighter color. And do the same down here. And then we got a few limbs. We can stretch out over on this tree here. Pat a little bit of that onto there, too, since it's right on the edge. A little bit on there, on the top. Good, I'm gonna mix a little black in as we get a little closer to the edge there. Make it a little more transitional. Get some of that nice orange. And again, that slightly lighter color. Then pretty much straight into that deep yellow, just for the edges here. Get a little more up in here and on here too. Okay. Now I can get some of our greenish highlights on here. Not pure green. I want to mix that green and orange again. And a little of that deep yellow. And some more orange. Because there's enough light where some of that green will show through. There's so much yellows and orange in that sky that it will affect the amount of green we see on these. All right. I think I want to darken that up a little bit, so let's mix a little red in there. Just want it to stand out from our background a little bit more. Yeah, we need more green. And a little yellow, a lot of yellow. Let's see how that looks compared to our background. Still a little too close. Let's take a tiny touch more of that yellow in there. Well, actually a lot of yellow. You know how that green is. It likes to cut right through any other pigment. There we go. That's standing out enough now. I am going to put a tiny touch more here, more orange in there though. It's still a little too bright. Let's go ahead and get some more orange in there. Might as well mix the rest of the orange in. There. Kind of muddies it up a little bit. We do want that orange showing through. Not a pure green. Okay. It's still not too different than that background color, but I think I'm okay with that. Kind of ties a piece together a little bit. And you don't want to go too heavy on the highlights, especially as you get towards the bottom. There should be fewer and further between. So there's less light getting down here and more shade. Right. Be a little more in that area, closer to the sun. Now as we put these in, we're going from the tree that's furthest away, which is the one on that corner. Eventually we'll get to the tree that's closest, which is that fella. And one thing that'll do is it'll help tell you if you have highlights on a branch that shouldn't. Just want to get a little more black up in here. Right? Get a little too much highlight in there. All right. But what that'll do, it'll make sure that your trees that are supposed to be in the foreground are in the foreground. Let's get a little more orange. Touch of yellow. Now we want to do this tree. I'm being very judicious while I do this tree, because I don't want to cover up the shadow on that tree that's in front of it. It's important to get your depth right. In fact, some of these we're just going to put in a few more little. I'm going to leave that one alone. Right, now I got this one. Now, when you're putting in your highlights above the sun, they should be at the bottom of the branch, because that's where the light's going to poke through. And you kind of get to the same area as the sun. Same area, not the same area. You get the same area as the sun. I want to do a little on the top and the bottom. I'm going to mix a little bit of that highlight color into that orange. Again, soften those edges. We don't really want to be super sharp. All right, now we're back below that sunline. I'm adding little bits of orange or bright yellow or deep yellow as I go along to break up some of those highlight colors on this tree. I want a little variation in there. This one's pretty dang close. Generally in nature, even in a city environment, but especially in nature. The closer you are to something, the more little details pop out. That's just how our eyes work. That green is getting a little too green. I'm going to take just a little bit of the red in there. Darken it back up a little bit. Desaturate it a little bit too. I'm going to work it into some of these areas so it's a smooth transition again. Okay. Now we can go ahead. Go into this tree. The nice thing about this highlight color is it really doesn't stand out against that bright sky. It's only when you get down here into the dark that it really pops. It's important to still have it there. Don't get me wrong. But we want it to pop more as we get into the dark. This is not going to show up as much in that bright sky. Your eye's going to be drawn to that bright yellow. Down here, it's going to be drawn a little bit more to that green. Let's go ahead and get a little more. I'm going to mix some of that yellow and red until I get a little bit of an orange color. I'm just mix a little bit of that in there. Again, a little variation. Maybe some of those areas just aren't getting as much. Put a little in the background there too. All right. Time to clean the brush. I got a few areas where I want to kind of push that paint down a little bit. And the other thing that'll do is add a little more variation into our color. Because that brush will pick up various shades of green. give it I just like that variation as we get closer to the object. Having that brush pick up a little bit of that paint, and you can put it in a little different area. Yeah. Just makes it look a little more natural to me. I'm gonna go ahead and just tap in some very light shadow into some of these areas where I feel like I went a little too whole ham with the green. Especially here in the bottom, darken some of these highlights up a little bit. Not completely get rid of them, but I shouldn't have as much light as they do, so. There we go. Okay. All right. Again, I am going to let this, let's see here. I spy with my little eye. A little too much black right there. Right there. And a little green right there. All right. And go ahead and let this dry again for about 10 or 15 minutes. And then we'll come in and do our last layer of sunbeams breaking through these trees. Through the magic video editing, won't be any time for you at all. All right, we are in the home stretch now. One thing that I want to do before I get those sunbeams in, so I'm going to thicken the foliage in a few of these parts. Okay. It's really all it takes. Now, I'm going to go ahead flip this paper over. So I really don't need those dark colors anymore. And we're going to take a little orange, a little lemon yellow, a little deep yellow, little touch lime green, and a little bit of white for our sunbeams. I can probably see a few areas. I'm sure you noticed there's some white there, a little white there. Basically what happened was I got some dark splotches on there that I didn't want. So before I took my break, I took a little bit of titanium white, went over the dark splotches. Now, I'll mix just a little bit of that yellowy orange. I'll go over, take a little, just orange there as well. Blend them out a little bit. We might need, we're just gonna take another orange there when we're done with our sunbeams and go through. Now, like this beam's a little too intense, so I'm going to darken it up. A little bit of that yellow-orange. Now, oh, you know what else we need? We need our matte medium. A pile of that right there. Probably more than I need, but that's okay. So let's, for the beam that's down here, take that orange, take some deep yellow, take just a little tiny touch of lime green, maybe a little more. Oh, I must have had some black in there. Let's kind of blend that out, and then we'll get, clean that brush off. Okay. Now we're just going to pull this down. And again, because of that matte medium, it's going to be a little brighter and a little milkier than it really will look when it dries. Let's get another beam. Aim it from the middle. Pull it down through here. Make sure you're blending it out good. If you feel you're getting a little too much, grab a little water to mix in. Go back over it. And take a dry, clean brush. Pull across. And pull along the length of the beam. I want a little brighter one for along this tree. You know what? We're going to mix a little lime green into that one too. Get a little of that tree color. Just about right here. And we're using the thin edge of the brush on this one. And again, with that big brush, pull across, thin it out, soften the edge. Let's go ahead and mix even a little touch more of that lime green. Maybe right down here, there's one. Flatten it out again. And again, kind of come through and go across. Up and down. Let's go ahead and mix more lemon yellow. Not lemon yellow, let's get that deep yellow. And of course, we need more of that mixing medium. And we got another one here. Don't touch the middle, but kind of aim your sunbeam from the middle. If you have too much paint left, just clean it off with that same brush. Smooth it out as much as you can. And again, very gently, go across. And up and down, we'll pull that, we'll blend that out at the bottom there too. I just want a little green in some of these. I was cutting through this real thick foliage. You see we got a few of those dark streaks there. Let's get another sunbeam in there. All the way down to the bottom. Mix a little lime green in there again. Let's actually just get a little more than that. Kind of down at the bottom. Green it up a little bit. Just cutting through some of those thicker areas of the tree branches that have more green to them. And of course, once again, softly go across and up and down. Mix up some more color there. Aim from the middle, right about here. There's gonna be one coming down. Pull as straight as you can. Wrong brush. Need this thick boy. And heck, if you want, take that same brush and just add a few little streaks. Medium yellow, regular yellow up towards the top. And kind of blend it out. Go back in with that big old 2-inch blender. I feel like we need another one. A few more thin ones over here. They aren't going to be as strong. There's more of that blending medium in this one, because we don't want it to be as strong. Maybe we got a thin one coming through right here. Hardly any color in these. Okay, let's go ahead. Now, just touch that area there up a little more. And get rid of that dark area. Blend those colors out a little better. Still peeking through a little more than I want. Then I'm just going to blend some of that orange out there. Still got a bright spot there, but we can fix that later. I also want to take got some dark in here that I want to hide a little bit. Don't Don't necessarily need to completely get rid of it. Don't need to completely get rid of it, but we want to hide it. Take a little more lemon yellow. That was way more than I needed, but that's okay. We can just make it look like the sun. It's kind of burning through some of those again. Take a little weight. A little weight into some of these sunbeams. Just to brighten them up some. If it's too bright like that one, well, we can just go into this yellow color. Blend it out. Just giving us some nice color variation in some of these beams. I kind of want to brighten this one up a little bit more. There's just hardly any color to it. Smooth it out. And then just for balance, I think we need a little orangey yellow beam coming through over here. That one barely has any paint on it, so we really don't even need to smooth that out more than just a couple licks. Okay. Now we are almost done. I just want to get a little titanium white towards the middle of the sun here. Pull it out from the middle. I'm going to take a little touch of lemon yellow in there too. Kind of go over those just a little bit. Soften them out. Then we'll take a nice little bit of yellow here in the middle, white, just pure white. Here in the middle, brightest part of the sun. And pull it out again. Blend those edges, get them nice and soft. All right, that is going to do it for this painting. Hope you enjoyed watching me paint. If you're watching to try to learn something, I certainly hope you did. If you were just watching to relax, I hope I did the trick. I hope you have a great night, an even better day tomorrow, and I'll see you again soon with another painting. Goodbye.